Friday nights at Willow Creek Restaurant were always chaotic, but that evening felt different. The air buzzed with conversation, clinking glasses, and the rich scent of garlic butter and grilled steak. Maya balanced 3 plates on her arm, weaving through tables with practiced grace. That's when the room shifted. The front door opened and a tall man in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit stepped inside. Conversations lowered to whispers. It was Victor Langston, the billionaire tech mogul whose name appeared in business magazines, stock reports, and charity galas. The kind of man who could buy the entire block without blinking. He didn't smile. He didn't nod. He simply walked in like he owned the air everyone was breathing. The hostess rushed to greet him, nearly tripping over her own feet. Moments later, Maya was assigned to table 7. She approached calmly, notepad ready. "Good evening, sir. Welcome to Willow Creek." He didn't look up from his phone. "Sparkling water. Imported. Not local," he said sharply. "And I expect immediate service." Maya kept her voice steady. "Of course. Would you like to hear our specials?" He finally lifted his gaze, cool, assessing. "If they're worth hearing." The comment stung, but she refused to react. She had worked too hard to let one arrogant man shake her. After delivering his water, she returned to take his order. He criticized the menu, questioned the chef's credentials, and sent back the bread because it wasn't warm enough. Nearby diners watched uncomfortably. Finally, when he snapped his fingers to get her attention, something inside Maya clicked. "Sir," she said firmly, "I'm happy to serve you, but I won't tolerate being disrespected." The entire table beside him fell silent. Victor slowly set down his glass. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes," she replied evenly, "but that doesn't change how you treat people." For a brief second, something flickered in his eyes. Not anger, curiosity. He reached into his jacket, pulling out his wallet to retrieve his platinum card. When he opened it, a small photograph slipped slightly into view. Maya froze. A younger Victor stood beside a woman with warm eyes and a familiar smile. Her mother's smile. Her breath caught in her throat. Victor noticed her stare. "What is it?" Maya's voice trembled. "That woman, her name was Elena, wasn't it?" His face drained of color. "Yes," he whispered. Maya swallowed hard. "She was my mother." The restaurant closed early that night. The last customer left. The lights dimmed. Chairs were flipped onto tables. But at table 7, neither Maya nor Victor Langston moved. He sat stiffly, the old photograph still in his hand. "Elena," he repeated softly, as if saying her name after decades felt unfamiliar. "She was the love of my life." Maya studied him carefully. It was hard to match this shaken man with the cold billionaire who had walked in an hour earlier. "She never stopped loving you," Maya said quietly. Victor looked up, eyes glassy. "Then why did she leave?" "She didn't," Maya replied. "She was pushed." He frowned. "My grandfather," she continued. "He found out she was pregnant. He told her if she ever contacted you again, he'd make sure she regretted it. He threatened her family, her job, everything." Victor's hands curled into fists. "That sounds like him," he muttered bitterly. "She tried to tell you," Maya said. "She wrote letters. She came to your office once, but your security wouldn't let her through." Victor closed his eyes, memories flooding back. His grandfather's tight control over his schedule, his life, even his relationships. "She told me you chose ambition," Maya added gently. "That you wanted your empire more than her." "I was 24, he whispered. "I would have given up everything for her." "But she never knew that." Silence wrapped around them. After a long pause, Victor asked the question he feared most. "Is she—" Maya nodded slowly. "She passed away 3 years ago, cancer." The word hit him like a physical blow. He leaned back in his chair, staring at the ceiling as if holding back tears he hadn't allowed himself in years. "I searched for her," he said hoarsely. "After my grandfather died, I hired investigators. I never stopped." "She changed her last name," Maya explained. "She didn't want trouble finding us." Victor looked at her then, not as a waitress, not as a stranger, but as the daughter he never knew he had. "And you?" he asked softly. "What do you want from me?" Maya crossed her arms, steady despite the storm inside her. I don't want your money. I don't want your name in headlines. She stepped closer. If you want to be part of my life, you start by respecting people, including me. For the first time in decades, Victor Langston nodded without negotiation. I'll learn, he said quietly. And for the first time, the billionaire wasn't building an empire. He was trying to build a relationship.